You're listening to Story Now, and today we have two very special guests, Russ Nieland, Managing Director, Partner, and Wealth Advisor, and Chris Graw, Partner and Senior Wealth Advisor at Carson Wealth, Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
A little gratitude will make your garden grow. A little gratitude is good for your soul.
I am your host, John Choate, and with me today is James Roth, our producer. James, thanks for joining us today.
You betcha.
Well, today we are excited to share a great conversation that we had with Chris Graw and Russ Nieland of Carson Wealth, Cedar Rapids, and they are in the wealth management industry. James, with our conversation with Chris and Russ, what were some of the things that stuck out to you?
Yeah, so my big takeaway on this one is just that I thought it was really cool the way they've sort of built the office to function as a team, and how it doesn't matter if you have a specific advisor, if that advisor is out or whatever, you're always going to get the same service. So I think the way they talk about building a team is really impressive.
Yeah, 100% agree. The thing that I think that stuck out to me, and has been a conversation that you and I have had on the side, is their commitment to really good customer service. So, for instance, when you call them, you're never going to get an automated message, at least during, their work hours. You're always going to talk to a person. And it seems like customer service, just as a general after this pandemic, has been a lot worse. And so for somebody to say this is really important and we want there to be a person that answers the phone when our customers call, especially in an industry like the wealth management industry, I just think is really, really important. And I think just lastly, one of the things that they mentioned was just, one of their mottos is, we're going to do what we say we're going to do. And I think that that's, in any business, just really important to know what your core values are, but then also be able to execute those.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, here is our conversation with Chris and Russ. So I'm curious, how did both of you get into wealth management? And I don't know if you want to go first, Chris, but just curious about your journey into this industry and sort of how you found Carson Wealth.
Yeah, I always say dumb luck. It's kind of the story of my life, right time, right place. But I was at the University of Iowa finishing up my senior year. Didn't really have a whole lot on my resume because I worked a lot through college. And so I took an internship at an insurance company, not knowing at all what I was doing, but basically just to do a resume builder. And but the one thing I always knew is that I wanted to do something special with my life and something that impacted other people and that could have an impact on myself and my family. And I found the financial services industry to have a lot of that. And so what turned into just something to do for a resume builder turned into, now an 18-year career that I'm really passionate about and love. So it's kind of the short end of it.
That's awesome. Very cool.
For me, it was more of my background growing up on a small farm and being exposed to what my parents had, or the products that they had and kind of how they were treated by the industry, and so that kind of piqued my interest. But really, what happened, I was in another industry completely different, and traveling a lot, and had a nice lifestyle, but my quality of life was horrible. Had recently been remarried, and I knew I didn't want to be traveling 300 days a year. And so, nor did my new wife. And so I was introduced actually to a gentleman who ended up being my business partner, Charlie Weber. And it really gave me an opportunity to evaluate options in the industry. And but I knew it was a profession that I absolutely wanted to be involved with, have the opportunity to help people and make a difference in their life in a manner that my parents hadn't been treated by financial people and salespeople during their lifetime.
Mm-hmm. So obviously, like, it's pretty clear just from hearing both of your stories that you're very passionate about helping people. And one of the things that really stuck out to me in a video interview that we had done before was one of the things that you had said is, we're just going to do what we say we're going to do. And I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about that mantra, but that was kind of fascinating to me, because I feel like there's a lot of maybe people in this industry that promise a lot, kind of like they promised your parents and then didn't deliver.
Yeah, unfortunately, our industry and the employers, especially the big ones, they have quota that you have to make, and if you don't do that quota, you're not going to be in a career that you want to be in. And so it really, spurs and incentivizes for product sales over doing what's good and what's right for the client often. And, I think because of that, and not to say that people who follow that are bad people, but there's a better way to do it in our opinion. And that's why we're really independent and own our business. But if you've got, several hundred or 1,000 clients, it's really hard to keep your promise to that many people on an ongoing basis. And, we often talk about, this business shouldn't be that hard if we just did what we say we're going to do and exceed what people expect, picking up the phone, talking to a real person. So that's what it is. It's like, let's not overpromise, but let's over deliver.
Mm-hmm. That's really cool.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think clients are often, they shouldn't be surprised, but they're surprised when we actually follow through and say what we're going to do, because I think they just don't get that experience in other aspects of their lives. So, and we talk about that a lot as a team, about, execution and doing what we say we're going to do. And we have a whole system around that, that we've used and leveraged to make sure we do that. So I think that Russ and I both share that, and we're passionate about that. And, our team has become passionate about that, and it's definitely a core value of ours.
Yeah.
And what's neat, John, since Chris joined us and his team, we now have the environment and the culture where we give each other a hard time, even on like personal goals that we have, or working out, or what we're eating and dieting. So, because that's really another key component of our firm is health and wealth, because we need to be around for a long time, healthy minds, healthy bodies, for the people that we serve.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and one of the things that's really cool for me to see is that whole mantra that you have, just translating it down to the little things. So like, one thing for sure is when you guys are open and people call in, they're always going to get a human being, which I thought was interesting. And I didn't know if you had any other things that you try to implement that would be different than the other guys. And I don't know if you guys want to talk a little bit too, just about one of the things that you said was other places might have hundreds and hundreds of clients. You're doing what you say you're going to do. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so one of the things that I was just curious about, is there a cap on the amount of clients that your advisors work with?
Yeah. I'll add one point to that too, is how we try to look at things a little bit unique. And that is, we've got a director of first impressions, so when, the families that we serve walk into our office, we want them to be greeted as if they're walking into a very familiar, very warm and comforting place to be. And when it comes down to that, one of the things that our director of first impression tries to do is get to know the families, not on maybe as intimate a level as Chris or I or the advisors might, and even, the operations and support team, but to know what they do, what do they enjoy, drinking, for example. Are they a soda person? Are they water? Do they like room temperature water or ice water? We're just trying to look for those ways to be unique and different in a world where people don't expect that anymore, especially after the last 18 months, right? And when it looks to the point of, can we do that at the advisor and relationship level? Ideally, what we want to see is an advisor have an average of somewhere between 100 and 125 families. I think the profession has kind of said that's an ideal number, so that you can do what we really focus on, and that's comprehensive, holistic planning.
Yeah, and I think we really feel you can't go deep with people. I mean, it's a hard conversation, right? When someone isn't really in your target market, and you gotta say, hey, this probably isn't a good fit. I think one of the things we try to do, though, with each and every person, whether they become a client or not, is make an impact on them and help them in some way. And so I know I've taken time, had people in the office, we've spent, we've even gone through the planning process with them. But at the end of the day, we're suggesting some things that they can do to make their lives better. And then when they get to a certain point, maybe we can revisit the conversation about, actually working a little more deep with them in the future. So, it's not that we're necessarily turning people away, but really not everybody needs the level of service that we provide. And if we end up trying to cater to all people, then, the current clients that we have really suffer. And so we're really focused on not, kind of watering down our service level and really going deep with the people that we do work with. So, but I do like, back to the point about the director of first impressions. I mean, we're very intentional as a team about, getting to know our clients. And we even, I don't want to give away all our secrets, but we even on our we've got this little cheat sheet, review sheet when we do reviews with clients, and there's a little spot there to take notes about, just unique items about them. So it could be, they like the Hawkeyes, or they're coffee people, like Russ said, or they like to fish, or they, whatever. So, it's kind of like, the old days when you walk in the coffee shop and they say, hey, John, wants your usual, right? And you're like, yeah, I'll take my usual, So that's kind of the mentality. And I think we also have created a really family environment where our clients, feel like they're a part of us and a part of our purpose and what we're trying to do. So
that's a great point, Chris, because even the way we've designed our office and how we're designing our new office, it's not to be stale and marble, if you will, but welcoming. And that's the type of group that we are, because, the client next door, that millionaire next door, comes in many different phases. And we just want to make sure that they feel like when they walk in the door, it's a good place to be. They feel welcomed and confident in the entire team. Yeah. It's really cool, quite honestly, when they walk in and all of a sudden, we're ready to greet them, and they're talking to everybody else in the office. Like, hey, do you want to get the meeting started? So then we know we've hit it right.
Yeah, that's really cool. Well, and that kind of segues into my next question, is because, everybody that I have met that's part of your team seems to all be very passionate about what they do, but more than anything, they put people first. And I'm assuming that that's a quality that you look for, but I'm just wondering, how do you do that when you're bringing on new advisors, bringing on new team members? What kind of things are you looking for specifically?
Yeah, I would say, one, we look for hiring good people and then teaching them our process. I know a lot of good companies do that, but I mean, that's first and foremost is, are you a good person? Do you care about people? Are you others focused? If it's, if the interview's going like, what's in it for me? If the first question's what's my compensation, then, it's probably, those are all good questions, but, probably the direction that person is going is maybe not the direction we're going. Right.
Sure.
And so, I think, I don't know if this is directly to your question, but we use the DISC profile or the TTI a lot, and we kind of have fun with it because some of us are, more dominant than others, and some are more social. But one of the things that we really, I think, do a good job of is not trying to have just one type of person in our organization. We have a lot of different types of people in our organization that serve different needs. And we talk a lot about where, even our director of first impressions has a very different lens they're looking through, and a different seat to see things that maybe Russ and I don't see, or others on the team don't see, that it's important. Everybody's important in what they do. And I think we really treat people that way. So
we've been really lucky too. I think when we start to have conversations with a potential hire, they're typically talking with several people on the team, because Chris might have a set of perspectives that I come with a little bit different. And, I think collectively we've been able to really identify just good people. And somewhere in that conversation, the words like, I love, or I'm really passionate about taking care of people, generally comes out. And when we know that is the case, then we know we're on the right track with people.
Awesome. Well, one of the things that I've noticed and that I've actually heard you guys talk about, and I'm wondering if you could elaborate a little bit more, is you guys describe yourself as a day one company, which I think is really fun to hear about. I'm wondering could you just define that for us and sort of how that affects the team on a day-to-day basis?
So let me start. Jeff Bezos, so we're kind of robbing and duplicating something of his. But it's like, what are the things that wake you up in the morning and get you so excited to go to work? And although we've achieved great success, I think everyone on the team is just super excited about where we're going. That as a collective team now, we're really just starting. It's like a day one, and what can we achieve from this point forward, knowing what we know and having the great relationships with wonderful families that we already serve. So we've got all these, 20 plus years of experience that we get to build from and multiply from. And that's with regards to the talent on the team, the type of families that we serve, and how we can ultimately give back to the community.
Yeah, I think it definitely helps us not become complacent, right? So I think it's easy to do when you have a certain level of success and just be like, hey, let's just kind of coast, let's put it on cruise control. And I don't think that's good for the clients. I don't think it's good for our team members. I don't think it's good for us as the owners of the firm. It gets mundane, dull, boring, and I think Russ and I, and we want everybody on the team to get up out of bed and be excited about, coming to work here and what the future holds. And, just always thinking back to those, I guess day one, the real day one, it was blue sky, tackle the world. And, we want to maintain that feeling. And I think as we keep talking about, being a day one company, which we probably talk about almost every week, it helps us do that. So.
And I think what drives Chris and I is part of it is trying to be able to provide more and more for our stakeholders, and that we've been fortunate because of them. And how do we continue to build for them and their families too? I think there's this thrill of failure that excites any entrepreneur. And I think that drives, like Chris said, that drives us on a daily basis, not to let our clients down first and foremost, not to let our stakeholders down. And so show up for work every day like it is your first day.
That's great. One of the things too that I don't think a lot of people maybe know about is that you guys are very passionate about, well, I think people know that you're passionate about the Cedar Rapids area, but you're also very passionate about giving back. I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit about some of the charities that you give to, and then maybe to take it a step further, why it's important for businesses in general to find organizations and to give back and support local community.
Yeah. Do you want to hit that first, or do you want me to?
I can start it. I mean, I think we both, like Russ said, I mean, we feel very fortunate. I mean, obviously we've done some things ourselves to work hard to get here, but along the way, I mean, there's been a lot of support and a lot of help, and, we live in a great community, and there's a lot of great organizations that are doing some really cool things for the benefit of the good of everybody. And so, we feel responsible for giving back. I think that's part of having some success is, and it's fun to give back. We enjoy giving back. And so, I'll let Russ maybe tackle some of the organizations that we're, we give back to or participate in. But I know for me, just personally, my wife and I are very passionate about education. We've got 4 young kids. That's something we're very, very into. We've got the Especially For You race coming up. So our team's doing, going to be participating in that event. And Russ, I'll let you talk about some of the other ones.
Yeah, I think even when we're talking with our clients about charitable giving and philanthropy, oftentimes we say it starts with the heart first. So when we're talking about that with our team, it's really, what do you feel passionate about? And collectively, it seems like there's a few things that we settle on or towards. Organizations that are focused on children or cancer, because in some way, one or many of us on our team have been affected by that. And why we believe that's important is once you get your passion around something, it's a lot easier to give either of your time or your financial support. And so it's those kind of organizations that we try to focus in on. And we've just been really fortunate to be associated with a number of them. So.
And just to be transparent, I mean, one of the challenges we've kind of had a shotgun approach, right? It's just like, oh, we got this flyer in the mail. I guess we'll go do something.
Sure.
One of the things we're working on right now is really narrowing our efforts to try and have a bigger impact on a few different organizations. So
awesome. So one of the things that I would imagine with any business owner is, the pressures of the day to day. Obviously, I'm sure that you think about your clients all the time. What do you guys do sort of in your personal life to separate and kind of relax a little bit?
That's a really good question.
Did Marcia put you up to that?
It's funny. I was talking with a friend of mine who owns a business and we were just having a drink on the porch and he's like, does it ever stop, And I was like, what stop? And he goes like, thinking about work, and he's like, I've got this like thing in the back of my head, it's always going. I might be like, talking to somebody about something totally different, but I got this like narrative going in the back of my head about what I got to be doing and what's going on. And I don't think it ever really does. I mean, for me anyway, but I've had to do some things that, have really helped me. I do things like I put my cell phone in my bedroom closet, usually at a certain time. It's usually around dinner time. These guys know, like I usually don't return texts until the next day. I don't check my email, it's just, or if my phone is there, like I will check it. And so that certainly helps me a lot. Just trying to put some guardrails around myself, because I know if I'm left to my own tendencies, like I know I'd be a workaholic, it's just
Sure.
what I like to do, and it wouldn't be a good thing. So I've done some stuff like that. I think I also take time for myself. I mean, I've made the mistakes of just grinding. I don't know if it's a mistake, but it's just like at a point in my life where I just need a break and I need to process and think. And frankly, that's where some of my best ideas come. It's funny when you relax your mind and you just try to not think about work, what happens, and that's probably where I get my best ideas from. And so, I try to take some time in the mornings and we've been doing some more family vacations and things that stuff to unwind and just not think about work. So.
Yeah, Chris does a good job of, being intentional, right? Starting with the end means first, right? And then planning toward that. And, I think the thing that we've done also is we've looked for help to make that a priority, whether that's through coaching programs, mentorships. For myself personally, I'm very fortunate to have a wife that is a yoga teacher and meditation, teaches meditation. And so I try to listen to her more often and use the tools that she's used so well in her life. I think the other thing that Chris and I share is we are passionate about what we do. We love what we do and the profession in which we are fortunate to be in. So it does make work so much more enjoyable. And the other thing that I would add that helps us deal with the highs and lows is because we work on a team, our highs, we don't let them get out of control. And that also means we don't let the lows get so low. So when there's those tough days, there's always somebody to walk into, and usually it ends up walking out with a laughter, rather than tears.
Yeah.
But, and I think it is important to be able to walk away. So, taking care of yourself, personally, that's something for myself, getting back into a really strong workout regimen, just consistency, because again, we've got to be there hopefully for a very long time for our clients. So health is so key for your mental aspect and, and just the ability to be around.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the things that I really find fascinating about your whole approach is that you encourage others to find times to relax. And, because I think a lot of times people think about retirement and that's really why they come in, right? But you guys sort of encourage you should also have family trips, and use it while you can, I guess is am I wrong in that? Because I think, it's, you could save up until you're 75 and then maybe something happens at 76. And what did you do? Did you create memories? And so that's kind of one of the things that, in my discussions with you guys that I'm thinking about all the time is, am I saving or am I, also occasionally, making memories with my family?
Hopefully the answer is both.
Yeah. Yeah. The answer is both.
Yeah. I think it is. First and foremost, what we want to be able to provide for those that we serve is confidence around their plan. Be thinking about things that they're not necessarily thinking about. But what's interesting, whether someone comes to us, again, when you talk about wealth, it's a number that's relative to any one individual person, whether they've got, $400,000 or $40 million, right? They all have worries about, do I have enough? And what else have found interesting over time is that people have a hard time spending their money. They've achieved their level of success because of their DNA. And so getting them to change that DNA, take that vacation you haven't thought about, spend the money for that nice dinner, or that nice bottle of wine or something to create a memory, whatever that is for you and your family. Do those things because we're not guaranteed tomorrow. I have a long time friend who, next to his phone had his travel agent's number. And I always thought that was pretty cool because he'd always say, don't forget to spend money on things that are going to last a lifetime, the memories. Mm-hmm. Right. And I think that's something that's very important that in the hard charging life that many people have, they forget about putting themselves first. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the idea of, tomorrow's not guaranteed is a big deal. And I mean, I've often, kind of in a joking way, but if I've got high confidence that somebody's on track to meet their goals, I always tell them spend the rest. I don't care. As long as we get you to your goals, I don't care what you do with the rest. So go have fun. Right. And, so that's kind of the approach, but, just a quick story I had during COVID, a couple clients, they were working at home and they've got a couple young kids and, they're great savers and young and, they made this comment as we were talking. I was challenging them just on so what are you guys going to do? What are your other goals with your family and everything? And they're like, we'd really love to go spend a couple weeks in Florida. And I said, well, why don't you just go do that? And they were both husband and wife on the phone, and she kind of looks at him and why don't we go do that? So anyway, they went and did 2 weeks, and they come back and they're like, oh man, thanks for telling us to do that. We had a blast, and our kids had a great time. It's just, they created this great family experience, and that's what life's all about. And I think we sometimes delaying gratification too long and looking in the future too long there's got to be a balance there.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. Well, we're kind of hitting our time mark here. Last question. Where do you guys see yourselves in the next 5 to 10 years? Where do you see the future of Carson Wealth of Cedar Rapids?
We're going to be a completely different company. Just if you look at what our company has evolved in the last 18 months and knowing where we're going to go in the next 3 years, the next 5 years, we just purchased a new building for our firm. And I have no doubt that Chris and I are going to be looking for a new place in the not too distant future for doing everything right and the goals that we have. And that's exciting, because I think there's a number of like-minded advisors that are out there that are seeing what we're doing and are excited about the opportunity that independence provides, and being a business owner and looking at, our mantra is to be the most trusted for financial advice, right? And I think that resonates with many advisors, but they don't have a clear path to get there. And so as clients understand and start to tell their friends and family what that means, and as the advisors and someone in the competitive landscape get a chance to sit down and understand what that means on a personal level, I think we're going to be a completely different company that continues to make a huge impact for a lot of families and continuing to impact the community.
I think one of the other things, I agree with Russ, first of all, but I think one of the other things is just from a technology standpoint, Carson's putting a ton of money in technology. We're extremely nimble. And what I mean by that is the way our technology has been built is one of the issues a lot of older companies have is they've got a lot of data on these old servers, and it's just really expensive and really hard it's like moving the Titanic, and we're just this speedboat, and we can just move quick and we can keep up with things really well. And so I think, our founder, Ron Carson, always just talks about, our competitors of tomorrow are Netflix and Amazon, not the typical company you would think about. And so I would say we've almost, our firm's become partially a tech company at this point. Just trying to, meet clients' needs before they even know they need them so I'm really looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to having, a number of more advisors and stakeholders on the team that not only we can provide opportunities to, but gives them the opportunity to do what they love and what they're passionate about and feel really good about the work they're doing. And, I know there's a lot of advisors out there that have lost that fire and they're just kind of feeling complacent and like I said earlier, just on cruise control. And it doesn't have to be that way for the rest of your life, and you can make a decision to change, and I think, people really need to think about that if they're feeling complacent and like they're really not excited to get out of bed every day. So
can I add something to that? Because you brought up some the technology that we've got today and some of the things that are in the not too distant future are going to make what we're able to do for our clients. There's some really, really cool stuff, right? And that is going to provide great opportunity. And because of technology, our ability to attract talent is changing significantly, and that's really really great. So we're going to have certainly twice the size we are today. We'll be there in 5 years, and that's really exciting for what we are going to be able to provide for our clients first and foremost, and then for our stakeholders.
Yeah, I think one of the things we get there's a lot of discussion in the industry of will advisors be replaced by AI or technology, and our take is that it won't be, and we're pretty confident in that. But advisors that leverage technology and AI are the future, and the things we're already able to do. I mean, just one example: we use this software where we literally drop in a client's tax return as a PDF, and we get this one-page report that basically summarizes their tax return in about 5 minutes.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that's the type of stuff we're starting to see in our industry. And I mean, that's just one example of things we're already doing. And so it just really...
FinTech is crazy.
Yeah, it fires me up to see, what's coming. So, yeah.
And that's coming from the old guy on the team.
Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to talk to us. And hopefully we've inspired somebody that wants to get in the field to take a step,
Yeah, we
So-
need more people in this field. We've got a lot of older advisors and we need a lot of younger ones coming in to take care of people. So, and thank you, John, for doing this. This is really, really fun.
This has been
Thanks
fun,
for having
John.
us.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you so much for tuning into the Story Now podcast. Before we go, we just wanted to give a special thanks to Justin Goodchild, who wrote and performed the song that you are hearing now.
And please be sure to follow us on all our social media channels, and we'll see you in the next episode.
When you hunger in the tooth, you take your mind off one small truth. No matter what you got, it's never gonna make you whole. Sunday morning, take your rest. Think of all that you've been blessed with. Appreciation will fill up your bowl. A little gratitude will make your garden grow. A little gratitude is good for your soul. A little gratitude will make your garden grow. A little gratitude is good for your soul.
Securities and advisory services offered through Cedar Advisor Networks, LLC, member FINRA/SIPC, a broker-dealer and a registered investment advisor. Investment advisory services also offered through CWM, LLC, and SEC, registered investment advisor. Cedar Advisor Networks, LLC is under separate ownership from any other named entity.
Carson Wealth of Cedar Rapids is located at 42 7th Ave Southwest, Suite 102, Cedar Rapids, Iowa, 52404.